Want to talk about not forsaking the assembly. I have people argue with me that, how you shouldn't have left the church. You don't forsake the assembly. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. It just depends on the assembly you're talking about. If you're talking about the assembly of shallow vapidness, or the congregation of cowards, or the sunny day Christians, the ones who fall apart at any sight of trouble. That's not everybody. Let's all agree that that's not everybody. I never had association with those people. Those people have never counted. They're never going to count. Now, there's room for redemption. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that those people are absolutely cut off, but they have a lot of growing up to do. The spiritually insecure people who go to pieces and attack me for saying things that challenge their belief system. And people that get tied up in their belief system so much that they take any criticism or any real questioning, any genuine degree of skepticism about their belief system. They go to pieces and they start to attack you because they're just not emotionally secure enough. They think that you are attacking them, or they think I'm attacking them, that somehow by my question I'm somehow calling them personally on the carpet. And that's not my point at all. My point is for people to evaluate their belief systems for themselves and stop taking somebody else's opinion on the matter. To really evaluate what you truly believe and stick with that, for good or ill. But the religiously vapid and the fair weather friends, those, I never had association with those people. My friends, the people that I associate with, are not afraid to ask hard questions and not afraid to challenge my belief system. Neither are they afraid to have their belief system challenged for points. And on top of that, even if the discussion should get very heated, we still are brothers. We do not get caught up in disunion because of dogma or doctrine. These are doctrinal issues that will all be sorted out. We'll all get it right in the end. When, like I said, some more literally than others. But my friends, the people I consider to be my friends, my fellowship, I will not forsake them, even if their, belief systems are different than mine. I don't forsake them just because they don't believe the same way I do. I'm not, a conformist by any stretch of the imagination. So, that would be ridiculous for me to not find association with people, where we can agree, we bond. We let that be the glue that holds us together. Where we differ, we're at least mature enough to set that aside and work it out over time. That's not a reason to disassociate. So, in my opinion, in my actual life experience, I do not forsake the assembly, the real assembly. The real brotherhood of believers do not get caught up in petty disputes. We argue real issues, and you know, when we can't find agreement, we just let it go until such a time that it is worked out. But, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, forsaking the assembly. I'm talking about figuring out who really is, you know, the member of the church, the real church, not this 501c3 corporate scam. It's a scam. It's just a simple business model. It's a pyramid scheme. You know, people say, pyramid schemes. Well, you're in a whole series of them. Your employer. You know, most of you, your employment situation, if you're working for somebody, that's a pyramid scheme. You know, one guy on top, a few managerial positions, and then a whole bunch of grunts. That's a pyramid scheme. You know, MLMs. What's the difference? Your church is set up just the same way. You got one little guy on top. He's held up by a board of members, a clergy, or rather, a vestry, a clergy, and then you got a whole bunch of little people that contribute their part to make sure that this pyramid doesn't fall over or collapse on itself. And you got all these little minions running around trying to make sure that the overhead is met, make sure that you're bringing in enough suckers to pay off the mortgage on the building, and to pay for the salaries, to pay for the stipends. You know, people give according to what they have. You know, in the first assembly, first century assembly of believers, you know, nobody was left wanting. In the church I see today, you know, you get cut off the minute that you lose. You know, within a few weeks of losing your job because you're not contributing to the overhead of the cost of running that church. And so you get cut off after a while because, well, you're a worthless member. And I see it all the time. There's exceptions to everything, and I speak in generalizations a lot. So you can't just take everything I say as you know, attacking everybody. This is just one guy going on about his business, who has a lot on his mind and a lot on his heart, and a lot in his soul that needs to get out. It needs to get people to start thinking about their situation, start making changes. Because what's going on right now ain't working. It's hollow. It's surface level. It's bupkis. People need to start finding some depth, or they're not going to have what it takes to get through the hard times that we're currently going through and that we're soon to go through. Things that are much worse than they are now. Just keep that in mind.